about it. But if you're not broke and you want to negotiate, the last thing they want to find out is that you have a lot of money or you have a big bank you're banking with, and then they're not going to settle with you, and they'll leave it on your credit, and that's not good. So you do want to settle, but you want to get it removed. All right, that's important. Don't give them anything. Also, on the check that you write to these people, and it's if you write a check, you can have a separate checking account where you don't have any extra money in there. Okay, but if you're going to write a check, on the check, it's cashed. You write this exact line here. If this cash is checked, that makes it account number, write the account number, settled in full, or agreed to be removed from my credit report. Just another way to protect yourself, going along the lines of getting everything that in writing. Okay, you got to get this stuff on writing, because then if you have it on writing and you have that check and it says, and they report it to the credit bureau as paid off, but or closed, or what, not paid in full or paid partial or settled. You want it to say that this was settled in full, not settled for negotiation. Okay, that's important that it's on there. Just it's not going to raise your points, but when creditors look at it, if you have that written on the check, you can then use that as evidence to send to the credit bureaus. If you have written on a check that they, with agreement that they will have this removed off of the credit report, you can get that sent back in as well to have this stuff removed. Keep track of your debts you've paid off. And believe me, if you call a company to pay a debt that's already been paid, you can't trust them to turn away the money. That happens with everybody. That used to happen with my grandfather, who would pay his medical bills as soon as he got them, even though he had insurance that covered 100%. He would go to the hospital and pay them in cash because he didn't like to have any bills in his name, and they never gave him the money back, and he got double paid for it. So be careful. Don't end up paying off the same debts more than once. You can't be too organized when it comes to this process. Come up with a system to keep track of what's been paid. So get a filing. You don't even need a filing cabinet. You just need some filing folders. As you pay it off and you get the receipts, you then move it to one file to the other that's paid and keep track of it. Keep moving forward, okay? It is so rewarding to get debts paid off, to watch yourself getting closer and closer to being debt free, plus to watch your credit report go up. Remember that this is the time to be right on your budget. Find a ways wherever you can to put extra money towards this goal. And as you're scrimping and saving and working, always remember, no more debt. Enjoy the process. Enjoy the steps towards each goal. Just like when you're working out, you're getting better shape. This is getting your credit report in better and better shape. That's why keep that system where they're monitoring your credit. You can then go back month after month to see what's getting knocked out of it. Print it out. Look at one to another to another. Show those results. It's like if you're working out on, you see these P90X workouts where they before and after pictures. That's what I want to see. Before and after on your credit report, and getting this stuff removed. It gets your score up. It'll get you that financial freedom that you want. So remember, try to negotiate to have the debt removed from the report if paid. This is the most important thing. If you can get the All right, so paying off old accounts that are yours, that's important that you do. Get those paid off. You can negotiate those, settle those debts, but get them paid off and try to have them removed off of your credit when you negotiate that. This is going to help build up your credit. It's going to help everything that you do. So try to get those accounts paid off. Old accounts will be removed because of statute of limitations after 7 years, or they can be disputed to be removed. Therefore, don't pay old accounts. Wait for them to be removed. Don't take your trust me. If you're at 6 years, 6.5 years, this is a process that's going to take 6 months, a year to get your credit settled out. Do you really want to spend that money and waste it on this old debt that's going to be disappear anyway, or hold on to that money, pay off something that's shorter, and just wait it out? So play the waiting game. But accounts that are over 7 years in Illinois, I'm putting this in parentheses because there's an issue with Illinois. dispute to have them removed. Go back to the old way, dispute to have it removed off your credit. Now, Illinois is a little bit different. Some Unfortunately, for the people who live in Illinois, some of the debts can stay on there for 10 years. Some can never be removed now, like parking tickets. And some things get removed earlier. So Illinois is a goofy state when it comes to paying off old accounts or the statute of limitations. There's quite a few differences. So Illinois, be careful. You can dispute it, but it may not get taken off. Um, the big thing here is getting rid of those charge-offs. If you have a charge-off on there, you want to do everything you can dispute to get that taken off of your credit, because a charge-off does not look good. It means that the company took a loss on you, wrote it off, sold that to another company, and it's just not good for you at all. A charge off, so you really want to get this taken care of. Take those off. It doesn't look good. Even if your credit score goes up, it just makes it look like you're a deadbeat and they had to just give up on you because they couldn't get any money out of you. This doesn't mean it's true. A lot of times things happen in your life, and no one can foresee the future, but it looks bad for the people who are borrowing money. Okay, then negotiate the amount. I will say this so many times, the amount, and make sure they remove it off of your credit report. Back with my highlighter. Remove it. Make sure they will remove it off and get that in writing. I can't stress how important that is. Okay, I cannot stress how important that is to get that removed off of your. Okay, now remember, like we were talking before, try to negotiate to have the debt removed from the credit report if paid. Get that in writing, which means you negotiate it over the phone, you tell them you have this much to pay, they think you're going to pay them right away, you say, okay, well, mail me that in writing and I will send it back to you with the payment. Okay? That's the most important thing to do. Get it in writing. Also, settle outstanding debts. Try to call the collection agency and settle for a lower cost. This is very easy to do. We talked about it before. I'm repeating it again. Okay, there's a couple of ways to do this. You get together the money, you call them up, you say, all right, I have this much I can afford to pay. You negotiate it with them. You can ask them what their bottom line price is, what's the most they could take. You're going to negotiate a little bit. But there's a couple of things that they need to promise. If they can remove it from your credit report is number one. It's worth paying more for that. If you can write or on a report paid as agreed instead of a charge off or paid charge off, which they might not agree to, this is extremely important. A lot of times they will agree to it. Most collection agencies will, but get it in writing, either paid as agreed or, you do not want a charge off or paid charge off. So get as paid as agreed or paid in full or whatever that case is, but don't get anything that says charge off, okay, or negotiated type of deal. Make sure they send a letter with the terms and agreement upon you paying and read the letter, okay? I can't, credit agents, credit collectors are probably not the most ethical people, and I'm telling you that you need to be ethical, and you do. But whatever you need to do is find out what they're looking for and make sure that they put it in writing and negotiate with them. Okay? Then what? All right, Jeff, great. I negotiated all these debts down. They sent me letters. I paid them off. Well, what do I do now? Well, that's why you're monitoring your credit for one, but within 5 days of receiving your investigation, the credit reporting agency must ask the provider for information that disputes to confirm the accuracy of the information. They have 5 days. Many times that information is no longer available, so if that's the case, they can't give it back and they have 30 days or it's taken off of your report. If this information provider confirms the error, it must correct the information about your account that's in the database. It cannot report the wrong information to the credit reporting agencies again. Once it's taken care of, that's it. They can't report it again because it was misinformation or they didn't have the information. They have to find it now. Second catch of that. Let's say they don't find it in 30 days, they find it in 45 days. Well, in 30 days, they have to take it off your credit. If they do find that information because it was truthful and it was a debt, then they can put it back on there. So, very important. That's why I'm saying don't bother trying to be unethical and lie about it, because eventually, if they do find that information, they're just going to put it on there anyway. If the information provider does not verify the accuracy, like I said before, you've disputed this, within 30 days investigation, the FCRA requires that you revise your account according to what's requested and they initiated the dispute. They have to fix it and take it off your credit report. They have 30 days to do it. There's been a lot of articles and people write and talk about it. The best time to do this is in November, because they're flooded with people looking for credit and people trying to, because of the Christmas season. So a lot of times they will just take these disputes off. I don't know how valid those claims are, but they're out there. Okay. Now I'm sure that the credit reporting agencies are overwhelmed with people who are making concerns, but also remember these are people that have to write this and read it and make the corrections. So if they don't read your letter, then they're not going to do anything, okay? Or if they don't look into the dispute, they're not going to do anything. They have to look into it by law, but they don't have to look too hard into it, is all I'm saying with that. Um, it, you know, a lot of times form letters don't even get read. So it's important on those letters that you change them. Also, the credit reporting, CRA, has no longer report that the payment that you've been late with a payment. Can no longer report that you've been late. Okay? However, if the information provided is the proof the fact it did pay the account, then an information disputed can be put back into your credit file. So like I said, it can be put back. If the errors are corrected, check the balance in 30 to 45 days to make sure they are corrected. If they are not, let the agency know immediately. And on destroyyourdebt.org, I include a follow-up letter that you can in case this isn't taken off of your credit report. Okay? Remember, everybody, knowledge is power. It's so important. That's why you're taking this class. Do all the research you can. Learn everything you can. Read every article that you can for beneficial things, because knowledge is power, and that's the only way you're going to get these things rectified in the report. Okay, now we're coming to the big point. You've taken this class. This is the big one. You want your score raised, okay? Well, everything you've been doing thus far has been helping to raise it. But these are the most likely ways of getting that credit score raised. And a lot of stuff is simple. It's easy to do, but it can be difficult at times because you want to spend money and build debt and blah, blah, blah. But you can do it, and you will. You've already done kind of the hard parts by cleaning up your credit report. So this stuff should be a lot easier. All right. So the first thing you want to do in raising your score is review each of your credit files for errors, incomplete information, outdated. If you lower your credit score, find out any problems to get them corrected. We did that already. Okay. We want to stay alert at signs for identity have been stolen. If a thief opens new credit accounts in your name, defaults on accounts, runs up your existing credit scores will be damaged. Chapter 10 discussed um, identifying theft. You know, this is a big problem, identity theft, and it's extremely important that you pay attention to your credit report to make sure it doesn't happen, especially if you have a name that's very familiar. Even if your name's familiar, you may have things that are put on there. It might not be identity theft, but they're not yours. Okay? Number one, pay your debts on time. I know it's tough to do sometimes, but you can't overextend yourself. That's why you have to do Destroy Your Debt class, but you got to pay them on time. Payments are the best way to improve your FICO score. The longer payment history you have on time, the better. So if you're behind on any accounts, you can get caught up as quickly as possible. Call them up, talk to them, try to work something out with them so it doesn't get reported on your credit. Communication is the most effective means of in any business endeavor whatsoever. So even if you owe people money, and credit companies and so forth, communicate with them. Don't make them chase after you. You tell them what